I want to start with what we just heard right there. Coach Harbaugh calling it basically the best performance that he had seen from Lamar Jackson coming back to beat the Colts. The Colts had the Ravens all over the ropes in this game. How was Baltimore able to do it again in that fourth quarter to come get the win?
Lamar was absolutely outstanding. And the one thing that really stood out to me post-game is when he said, look, everything is starting to slow down. To me, he's starting to really read the defenses. He's starting to feel comfortable when he's dropping back, and he understands what the defense is trying to do. Absolutely incredible performance by him. But also, you look at a guy like Marquise Brown. I'm extremely proud of Marquise Brown because of the way he's bounced back. He's no longer just a deep threat. They're getting him the ball intermediately in a short passing game, and he's doing his thing. Just really proud of that young man and what he's accomplished this last couple weeks.
And Mark Andrews as well. I mean, I think this is, you sort of saw the best of what the Ravens can be. That's what the fourth quarter felt like to me. Now, the rest of the game, they look bad. And this season for Baltimore could be so much different. I mean, if you think about the Kansas City game, if Clyde Edwards-Helaire doesn't fumble, they, in all likelihood, lose that game. You know, they would have lost to Kansas City at home in that game. Now the Colts game, if it's not for a miracle fourth quarter comeback that included two-point conversions to go get the win, they would have also lost to a struggling Indy team at home. So they could very easily be a 2-win, 3-loss team right now, but instead they're 4-1 based on what we've seen Lamar Jackson do in these fourth quarters. And probably the most impressive thing is that he's doing it all with his arm from the pocket, 3-step drop, getting the ball out, finding open receivers, multitude of guys out of the backfield. And when he needs to scramble, he'll go create some magic, but it's from the pocket first. And he looks so much more comfortable back there, wheeling and dealing, whether it's deep, intermediate, or the short stuff. I'm really impressed.
Yeah, the thing about it, too, is he had opportunities when he dropped back to take off and run, and I saw his patience. I saw the discipline. He didn't want to take off. He stood in the pocket. He continued to survey the field, and he made some incredible plays, man. And I was sitting back like, wow, is this going to be the new Lamar Jackson? And that's where he has to get to. He has to get to the point where he can play like that every single week and just show a level of consistency.
Yeah, and earlier in the game. You know what I mean? Like this game very easily and was close to being completely out of hand by the time he got back to it. I want to hit Indy because we have been critical of Wentz, critical of this new Colts team and what they're trying to put together there in Indianapolis. What did you think of the way they got the run game going, got Jonathan Taylor going in the passing game? You've been saying all year, Rod, get back to the run, get back to this big offensive line in the run game. How did they do it on Monday, and what'd you see from their side of the ball there with the Colts?
Well, you have to run the football. I mean, that's the bottom line. You can't sit here and make Carson Wentz the focal point of the offense because, and I told you this before, I think Carson Wentz is going to be the reason why the Colts don't make the playoffs, why they don't go very far. I just don't think Carson Wentz is the answer to the Colts' problem at quarterback. And you think about the run game, they're dropping back, passing the ball, and you give it to Jonathan Taylor, he's getting 5-6 yards a pop. So feed him. He's 230 pounds. He's fast. He's hungry, and he can get it done. And anytime they've given the ball to Nyheim Hines or Jonathan Taylor, good things happen. But you cannot sit back there and allow Carson Wentz to hold the ball. He's just not very good. He's not playing with a lot of confidence. And let's not forget about a guy like Calais Campbell making a huge play with the blocked field goal. Chuck Clark, safety Chuck Clark, that no one really pays attention to. And this is one of the anchors on the defensive side of the ball for the Baltimore Ravens. But if you're the coach, go back to running the ball, play action pass, and getting the ball out of Carson Wentz's hands as quick as possible.
But for Indianapolis defensively, because you were texting me last night during the game going, you got to double Mark Andrews, you got to double up with him. Since it's hard to decide. I mean, they had 272 yards and 4 touchdowns combined. If you look at Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews. So who would you try to take away? If this becomes sort of the future now of what Baltimore is going to do, we know how great they are on the ground, the long record they had of all these 100-yard rushing games. But if they're able to now do this from the passing game, who do you try to take away? Is it Hollywood Brown or is it Mark Andrews? Because they both looked pretty great last night.
Well, let me just say this. Mark Andrews is a player that I think that he should get at least 10, well, he should get minimum 10 targets a game because he's big, he's got great hands, he runs routes like a wide receiver, and I just don't think there's many safeties or even linebackers that can defend him one-on-one. And he's really good even if you're playing zone coverage. He knows how to find the openings in his zone. But you think about him in the red zone, he becomes a factor as well. If it's me being a defensive coordinator, I'm telling my guys, don't give up the big play to Hollywood Brown. Let him catch the underneath. We'll rally and tackle him. But if I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm definitely taking away Mark Andrews in certain situations in the red zone, third down, because he is such a good target, and Lamar feels so comfortable with this guy.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.